You get the Pacific Northwest, the pine, the citrus from. Take Fuggles, grow it out there. It's going to throw some pine and citrus. And you grow them in Jersey, and it tastes like
pork roll.
Tastes like pork roll. Oh, if only.
Maple syrup dripping from his fake roll. Who did he see when he heard I was there?
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room. It is Wednesday, November 25th, Thanksgiving Eve, folks. This wonderful night of the year. Jersey Johnny coming at you, and with me, as always, is Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Beer Samurai.
Hey, guys. Happy International Hat Day.
It is International Hat Day today. Yes, it is.
And I know it's usually Johnny's thing, right?
I put National Hat Day. But
it's International. National Hat Day is January 15th, I believe.
Yeah, so it's International Hat Day.
International Hat Day. But
2 different hat days a year.
Yeah, 2 different. But it's usually Johnny's thing to wear the baseball caps, but that's why I'm wearing one today. I've got my Firestone Walker on there. And, John, you appear to be – what hat are you wearing?
I am wearing the same – I'm wearing the same hat as you're wearing a shirt. It's from Carton Brewing in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey.
We know them.
We do know them. We know them very well. We know them so well. We might actually have somebody with us today from there.
And
who is Carton Brewing? That would be Mr. Let's welcome to the show today, Mr. Augie Carton. There he is, folks.
There he is. Augie, how have you?
My framing.
There we go.
Okay.
That's perfect.
How you been, brother?
There's small business, big pandemic.
Oh yeah.
As good as everybody else. How are you guys doing?
As good as to be expected. Yeah, good. I mean, we've been doing this. Dave's been working. I've been doing this.
I've been working, and I've been working really hard to keep the breweries up here running.
You see it out of love and respect for you, I wore some of your goods.
There you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
And I think the last one of his goods that he owned, I think I broke. Did I not?
Maybe. Was it one of my wedding china thing? I don't know.
No. It was a glass.
Was it?
Oh yeah. Well, you might have been the only one to ever break one. Luckily, you know where to get another.
I do.
Oh, geez.
How is it up in Rhode Island? Have you found any good beers yet?
I have found some pretty decent beers up here. We've got some nice breweries up here. I'm 4 blocks away from Smug Brewing, so I drink a lot of Smug on the show. But
somebody else named their brewery Smug. Somebody else named their brewery Smug.
There's Smug Brewing in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Right here.
Where's the other?
Smug and Brash.
Smug and Brash.
Smug and Brash.
Should have been the 2 names of my brewery.
There you go.
I can think of other adjectives for you, but okay.
There's plenty, yeah, exactly.
I think those are the 2 most commonly done. Is that light behind my head bad?
Yeah, I was just going to say you're getting a little bit of a halo there effect, and we know that's inaccurate.
Well, I didn't even realize it was a light.
Oh, that's sweet. Hold on, stick with me. I will try to make that stop for you.
There you go.
There we go.
All right.
Perfect.
Look at me. I'm almost ready for this. Is that better? And we see me
perfect.
Okay, and we're okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely perfect.
This is huge. I'm out in the yard, like I said when I was logging on, safely distanced from you two because I know that you're probably riddled with disease.
Absolutely.
So I'm in the yard 6 feet away.
And we may even have COVID too.
Well, you're about 15, 20 miles away from me, and we're both about 200 and something away from Dave. So.
Yeah, it's about 100. Yeah. A little more than 200.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
My recollection of Rhode Island is that it's weird because it shouldn't be that far, but because the roads are so small and shitty, it is that far. Like, we should be able to drive there much faster than we can. Am I wrong on that? Cheers, gentlemen, by the way.
It's about 3.5 hours. Well, you know what? If he's drinking, I'm drinking. Screw this.
Yeah, let's go
I'm
back
pulling
to
my beer out.
You guys invited me here to drink. Did you think I came here to talk?
No. We're definitely drinking. Dave, what are you drinking today?
Oh man, had to get that off. So since we've got Augie on the show, you caught that. Since we've got Augie on the show, I had to go with the only carton beer that I can get up here. It's called Brimming Bin.
Brimming Bin.
This is a collaboration with Trillium.
You be able to get any of my beer up there. How the fuck do you get my beer?
Trillium. So tell us a little bit about Brimming Bin. How did this come about?
Well, JC You guys know I have a podcast.
Yep.
We're aware of that. Yeah, steal this beer.
I actually officially met JC on the show. We were up at Extreme Beer Fest in Boston. Kennedy said, guy up here making beers I think you'll like. You should meet him. He's a cool dude. So you guys know how I get at things like that. So it's day 2 or 3. I've got my extreme beer hangover from what's his name, Extreme Beer Fest. And JC shows up to do a show with me in a lobby. I just started talking to him. He's super competent and very calm and quiet, which doesn't make for the best podcast guest, as I'm sure you guys are learning as you do this.
Well, you're our first guest, so.
All right. Well, hopefully I will be both competent and confident, but chatty.
Absolutely.
But over the 40 minutes we do that show for, he said amazingly cool shit. Yeah. So, it was concise. He was as conservative as I now know him to be. He's been on the show multiple times since, and we've gotten very used to talking to each other. But the first time we spoke to each other was recorded, which is weird. But after that, I went over to, it was the hotel everybody stays in was directly across the street from his old brewery. So after we were done, I went over to just chat with him before I was supposed to go to that floor to drink some beers. And Jeffers, formerly of Firestone Walker, Jeffers happened to be in there. So now I'd met Jeffers the night before, but I'm now hanging out in the back of Trillium, who at the time was super famous for hazy blah, blah, blah. And hanging out with one of the gods of acid. And we're in the back room of that tiny little brewery, and JC just keeps pulling out fucking fascinating saisons and sours.
Yes.
And I just spent 40 minutes talking to him about haze. So now I spent 5 hours drinking with him, missed the session I was supposed to be at a VBF, and stumbled into like the last hour properly schnockered and super excited with Jeffers, who, Jeffers has been a friend a while now. And I just got excited to fuck around with him. So we did there's 2 beers in that series. We did what started off as I would do an O-dub with his yeast and his hop choice. And we would make, this is, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, but we would make a hazy O-dub. And we would call it after his zip code as a joke.
There you go.
And
that game.
the more we talked, the more a mutual love of like interesting aromatic white wines came out. So then I started thinking about all these hops that were striking me as white wine around the floor. So I will turn an O-dub into a white wine hopped beer. And then he was turning a saison into a white wine blended beer. So that beer actually has white wine in it and is a same mash, same grist. The same hops went into it on his side, except no dry hop. So it really makes no fucking difference because I think that was in tank for 2 or 3 years, getting properly funky.
I was gonna say.
And so I put mine out. But what's funny here is if you are paying attention to what I've been doing, we've come up with what we call the New Jersey IPA, which is basically a New England grist, but we use Kolsch yeast because we think, because of boat, Kolsch yeast goes best with our water and keeps it a little dignified, if you will, a little more mature, a little less party, a little more thinky. Like the geeks at the party.
Right.
That starts with that beer because while JC and I were up at his place brewing his and having that discussion, he kind of inspired me that was authentic to us. Not that we can't make hazies, we do. I've got a proper New England now, and we make them every now and then, and we use Conan or London 3. But what he's like, sounds like you fucking love your Kolsch. Why wouldn't you do this beer with that? So we did, and that was the first of what we would now call a New Jersey IPA. We did Ouroboros with Equilibrium last year before I met him this. And now my fun thing to do is take other brewers' favorite recipe of theirs that they use one of the New England yeasts on and swap it out for Kolsch and just call it a New Jersey IPA and get. I'm about to do one with District 96, just did one with Equilibrium, just did one with Other Half. Actually, JC and I are brewing one, I think, next Wednesday. And now it's just fun because it's just everybody has their own little way of putting together oats and, sugar and wheat and two-row.
Right.
And then that yeast kind of is the uniform thing. So I've been fucking with that, of course. But it's neat when you do the Trillium thing plus Kolsch and you do the Other Half thing plus Kolsch and you do the Equilibrium thing plus Kolsch, because it strips out some of that plushness and makes it a little more linear and shows off what's going on, I think, more fundamentally in that beer. Like, those yeasts are beautiful and fun and easy to love, but they're like a good finish coat of paint,
Okay.
And this way you can see the bones and the structure and, how well it was spackled, how well the trim work was done before everything got painted.
Well, we should probably let Johnny open his beer.
Oh, I was just consumed in the conversation, so I'm gonna open my beer now, and let's just make the sound on it.
But that Kolsch yeast, if you remember, turned into one of our inside jokes about boat.
Well, not one of our inside jokes. One of your very public misunderstandings that I turned into an inside joke.
Yes, it was. Speaking of EBF, it was that websites that misrepresented the beer to begin with.
No.
It was put up as a Kolsch.
They were different times. Fuckery was not embraced by the geeks back then. And now,
they were so serious.
When I started, I was the king of fuckery, and now every time I'm like, "We'll do this," people are like, "Oh, like so and so." I'm like, "God damn it!" Although I am happy we're doing EBF again this year in a virtual format. There's only 10 breweries.
Yes,
and some version of every beer coming I've made in the past. Like, there's a miso beer. I was like, I did that. There's I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'm still not that far behind.
We talked about that on the show a couple of weeks ago at the virtual EBF. So I know I am. I'll be doing that. I'll be partaking. Dave, I think you said you were going to as well.
I'm not. I'm undecided.
You're undecided. He's
But
undecided.
I think I will.
But me, I'm drinking your current release.
Is that this one? This year's?
That's this year's.
It's a week early, is it not?
Did you have to come by us to get it, or was it a store?
I was about to go, and then Sam at Wegmans in Ocean actually put it out, and I grabbed it. So there you go.
Nice, good. That works out perfectly. That's what I hope for that beer.
Absolutely. So cheers on that.
Yeah, we did it. Thank you. Cheers to all of you. Here's to you. I'm almost done with mine already because even though I talk the most, I drink the fastest. So Dave, we put it out a week early because of crowd. Right? Like we've worked directly against the crowd for 10 years. We don't announce our releases. We do them randomly and usually on Wednesdays. We try to just avoid crowds for a bunch of reasons. One of which is there's an elementary school across the street from us. Like, it just, I love all the beer geeks. I want to have them down. I want to make them excited. I really want them to be thrilled. But if there's a line of even 10 of them outside the door, I mean, you're literally, when you're standing outside our door, you're 50 feet from the entrance to an elementary school. Correct. So we've always worked directly against the line. We do have a couple beers that we always do on the same day, which does garner some kind of line. Epitome, Regular Coffee, a couple other little ones.
Speaking of Epitome, we got Mr. Alshel says
Anyway,
and then Gene, same thing. So.
Said that he actually said it like epitome.
Epitome.
But the proper pronunciation for all of you that were there when we first made it a dozen years ago is epitome. But anyway, so we just wanted to avoid the crowd. So putting out a week early. We've already sold through about half of it. Like I said, we put it at every store. So there's no reason. That's when John called up and said, hey, I want to have that beer when you're on the show. I'll come down. I was like, just wait. We're getting it out. In 4 or 5 days, we should have most of the state covered. And then there's no, I don't know. I know it's bad small beer business, but I think it's good Jersey business to not make dudes sweat to get your beer.
And well, it's not like it's that long of a ride for me, but obviously a trip to Ocean is quicker than a trip up to the Atlantic Highlands.
And that's all I want. Like I said, for most our beers, I should make people explain them. You guys, do me a favor, figure out some signal if you can't hear me. I think my headphones just told me they're going to die, but I have alternates. But if all of a sudden you don't hear me, be like,
gotcha.
You know what I mean.
This will be the signal.
We'll do that.
This is it.
Yeah.
Augie, you've gone insane. But that'll be a good opportunity to refill this beer. So, I'd like it if somebody from Carton, if everybody that bought a Carton beer had somebody from Carton be like, here's what he was doing this time.
Right.
So it's weird to try so hard to put it all in stores. But if it's all in stores, I think how you make a living in beer in Jersey isn't on guys that carry folding chairs, but is on guys that paint houses. You know what I mean? I want a dude that likes tasty beer that just finished rolling paint for 8 hours to be able to get my beer, not some dude who, I don't know, can drive 7.5 hours. I like seeing those dudes. I like when they come down and it's an occasion.
Right.
I don't want it to be an every Tuesday thing.
Right. Occasions. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
All right. Keep talking. I can hear you. I'm going to go refill this beer because I'm thirsty.
Yes. Definitely do that.
So this would be a good opportunity to get into the news.
Yes, I was thinking that. So while you're refilling your beer, and what is that you're drinking, Augie? Whip, right?
Whip. Hold on, I'm refilling it. I'm at the draft right now.
At the draft.
My son is showing me a puppet he just made. Cassidy says hi, guys.
What's up?
Hey, guys.
Open it and close it for me, sir. Thank you.
Are they both there or just the one?
Fresh whip. Finn is upstairs in a guitar lesson. Nice. Lauren is making chili. Here's Steve. So there's the whip for you. Look at that sweet-ass branded glass. I finally nailed it. Cheers.
That's a nice glass. And
it's a great pour.
Yeah, it's a great pour. He was on a mission from God.
That's right.
Yes, he was.
All right, do your news. I will chime in as I see fit to make fun of your news.
Well, we were what we were talking about before was the fact that, this last year they started this small brewery Sunday, Small Business Saturday. They started Small Brewery Sunday. And there was an article posted in Food and Wine magazine and on foodandwine.com anyway. I read it. It's a small independent brewers have become the backbone of the American beer industry. Like 2020, they're saying will finish as obviously the worst for the craft beer industry in the last decade, at least not longer. It's been devastating for craft brewers this year. They face shutdowns, decreased sales, layoffs, and a can shortage. So, it's been
a can shift.
A can shift. There you go. Well,
yeah,
it's just
AB Craft has all the cans they need.
Of course they do. All right, does that shock anybody? But Brewers Association did a member survey and found that only 78% of small breweries are confident that they'll actually be open this time next year. So we wanted to talk to you, get your opinion on, as far as the smaller brewers go and what they have to face and how you guys and what you feel everybody else is getting through it with the pandemic.
It's funny. So only 78% sounds like a bad sentence to me.
No. Yeah. I mean, yes, but
I think if you section out any other small business like craft brewing, any other artisanal small group, I doubt they're 78% confident. You know what I mean? Like I just want to start there.
The number's lower, you think?
I'm thinking if you're a artisanal belt maker,
right?
Think about the dumb shit that goes through your Facebook feed that they try to sell you. Like,
sure.
We're a company that makes, I don't know, fucking specially made shotgun key rings.
Right. For $400.
You know what I mean? Like,
and
yeah,
Facebook is going to give you all kinds of belt ads now. Thank you.
Right. But my fault. It's my own damn fault. But you know what I mean? In 2018, somebody might pull the trigger on one of those. Most of the people I know aren't pulling the trigger on one of those.
Right.
And you guys just heard me talking about our community. I think so. All right, let me digress for a second because Carton's got a whole nother wrinkle. COVID revealed somebody who was basically criminally incompetent in our management team for about 5 years. Both of you know me better than everybody who's going to watch this, but you know I've never taken any money out of Carton.
Right.
Carton is a passion project. I try to just make whatever excites me, and I hope it excites people. That's our game. So I've never asked for profit. We had a person in the team put some bad numbers forth 5 or 6 years ago. And rather than come clean about that, just lie, like a gambler going to the cage to win the next hand, right? Chasing the money, if you will. So he put some bad numbers in, and instead of telling us, he just kept the numbers fiction. And what would happen, because we are a beach centered place, he would just wait till the summer came around, scoop all the cash off the table, pay off all the bills from the year, and not tell us that all of our numbers were wrong. What COVID did that might have actually been a favor, but in the most disgusting, horrible, buggering kind of favor, was scoop all the extra summer money off the table. So there was nothing there for him to pay down the year's accumulated bills with. That all became abundantly obvious sometime around August. We asked him to go home, and we found about $2 million in random unpaid bills hidden in drawers around the place. So I don't imagine we're the only people with that story, but I think we have a uniquely hard COVID story, right, in that form. And I still think we're going to make it. Obviously, it's taken a lot more concentration. So you guys both know the whole design of Carton was so that I could make dumb mistakes. The reality is somebody else got to make my dumb mistakes. Right. You know
I thought it was so you didn't have to pay to drink beer.
You know that I've never gotten a free beer in all of this, except from other brewers. Right? Like I make beer for $5, sell it for $4, and buy it back from $9 on almost every day of the year. Like I'm like that dumb panty elf episode of South Park. Like we definitely aren't a for-profit business. But like I said, I designed the business to afford me some giant mistakes, and sadly somebody else got to make my giant mistakes. But I think we're going to be okay, and we're going to be okay in spite of COVID, because our community has stood by us and we've stood by them, and we've been, we've still tried to keep our creative, inspiring, fun side alive for everybody who needs something creative, inspiring, and fun these days. But we really leaned heavily into the fact that we've always tried to, like I was saying 10 minutes ago, we've always tried to have a beer the guy that swings a hammer wants to drink when he puts that hammer down. And that's definitely paid off for us. So what I'm saying is, and I'm owning that we had a very bad business model. I was trusting people to run businesses that I liked and I thought could run businesses, not that were professionals. And instead of owning mistakes, that kind of bit us in the ass. But we're still, I think, going to be okay. And if I'm wrong, you'll know. You two will probably know first, right?
We hope you're not.
But no, but you know what I mean. I think we're going to be okay. But if we can be okay through this, I think small brewers should be okay through it, unless they really made some horrible mistakes, or let's face it, it's possibly the worst timing in the fucking world.
Right.
It's possible you opened on a tasting room model in January.
Right.
That's fucking horrible. Mm-hmm. But if you've been nimble and you're willing to hustle, I think the craft community has rallied around everybody I know. I don't know. Well, what's funny is I do know people that are getting richer, but they're geniuses. Right. They're guys who had all the right people in all the right places and were fast enough to be like, hey, we can deliver now. Fucking deliver to everybody.
Right.
Everybody else that needed a month or two to figure that shit out lagged the important profitability section. And I'm one of them. But again, I'm allowed to make those kind of mistakes.
Right.
But go ahead. That begs a question. With taproom shut down, where is your best margin? Is it in can sales? Is it in?
Oh no, your best margin's in the tap room.
It is in the tap room.
Your best margin definitely in the tap room.
Obviously, but it's not draft. For us, it's not draft. It's not us. For us, it's not draft. For us, so in New Jersey, there's the criminal 3-tier system.
Oh yeah,
and because it's a criminal 3-tier system, it just builds out these ridiculous margins for everybody who's criminally, who's statewide mandated a tax-free income when we have the most overtaxed electorate in the world.
Yeah, Rhode Island's very similar in that regard. They got the 3-tier.
So the minute you ship beer out the door, it doubles in price in 3 moves. I mean, so if I can make it for $9 and I sell it for $13, to sell it for $13 on the street, I have to sell it for $4.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and that's actually part of one of the things that revealed in this discussion with the other guy was our profitability was just marked so poorly. And what I thought was, what I was told was markup was margin and everything was ratcheting significantly more than it was supposed to be as it was explained to me. And whatever, I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is to do that, if you can make the can and you can sell it out your door, that's already better. And then there's steps, right? Stores are, you're going to make more money selling cans to store. You're going to make the same money selling cans to stores and bars. But what I've been saying this whole time is, look, please come buy beer from me. And if you're not buying beer from me, please buy only beer from your local makers, from your local stores, or your local bars. Not to be a dick, and I don't want to make enemies with Applebee's, but national franchises, when they said you can only eat outside, had help and guidance on how to open outside. When they said you can only eat outside, your local money. But you know what I mean? Well, not money. They're franchises, right? You own it. You got to kick in. But they've got whole guidelines for you and whole lawyers to explain to you how to do it.
Sure.
The guys around here, Nicholas and off the hook on the deck, and all our locally owned businesses, and they knocked my socks off. But they were told you can eat outside Tuesday on Monday, and figured out how to fucking open outside on Tuesday.
Right.
Nice.
That is not a cheap project. You know what I mean? That is just, that's not. There's no way that's in anybody's business model. Hey, we got to serve outside next week. So that's who needs your money, right?
So and the fire needs a log.
That's who needs your money, and the fire needs a log.
Oh, you're seeing me. I'm sorry.
We can still see you. But
I was like, you can see me? I should blow my nose.
See, it's video. But that begs another question.
My nose is running because I'm inside.
But with the pandemic, you would think that alcohol sales would have gone up. So is it really just a matter of taking advantage of that opportunity, being there, marketing it, being available?
You know who took a hit in all this that kind of cracks me up? White Claw.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, they're down. They're down. They're down because non-pro drinkers schmuck drink those fucking beverages.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So when the shit hit the fan, everybody, either the pro drinkers kept drinking pro. Mm-hmm. 3 of us know what that is. Sure. Everybody else got real serious about how fucking dumb it is to buy a vodka soda for $14. So long term, there's a fucking threat to craft every year. Sure. And in 2019, it was seltzer. In 2020, it's COVID. Mm-hmm. But if COVID makes everybody that's like, oh, it's fun and I'm just partying with my boys and I'll just crack a fucking White Claw. If it makes them a little more savvy about drinking, that's only going to be good for craft, right? What we want is savvy drinkers. Right? So, hey, you know what I'm saying.
Well, I'm empty.
Are you? Well, before we get to that, I just want to say there's one thing that on all of that, with all of that going on and everything that everybody's had to deal with, there are still breweries opening up.
Yes. In Rhode Island, we just had Six Pack Brewing opened up last week. down in Bristol. We've got Moniker opening up probably in December.
Please tell me they make 4-pack pint cans with packs.
I mean, no, that would be awesome. I thought the same thing. If they're doing 4 packs of 16 ounces,
I hope they're another one of those people just robbing the other half sticker and doing the fucking hazy job. Like, oh, it's so easy. Don't mind the butter flavor.
I don't think so because the
I'm not saying they will be. I just think that will be the ultimate proof that we've jumped a shark.
Well, Mark Pappy comes out of 12 Guns in Bristol, and 12 Guns they have a broad spectrum of styles that they do there. One of their opening beers was a Rausch. So
nice. Hall, are you watching? Hall, we got a new Rausch for the show.
Oh, and I'm I was talking to Kyle about that Rausch, Kyle Mashad, the owner of 12 Guns, and he puts out all these different styles, and I think
John,
Mark,
do you want to pick up the names he's dropping, or should I?
He knows them already. I've already given them to him.
I'll write them down.
All right, I have no idea what he's talking about.
No, you don't. But that was more for John's sake. But moving on to the next beers.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so wait, I will go town it up, and I think I'm going to switch headphones.
Okay.
Because these have given me 3 warnings while you were talking, Dave.
And I didn't talk that long.
Finish this,
which is a switch.
Yeah, you haven't. That's right. Yeah, switch your headphones.
Keep telling yourself that. Do you guys care about proper glassware? Should I switch to a town glass?
No, you can do whatever you'd like.
Drink out of a martini glass for all we care.
If you want to pour it in a shoe, that's fine as well.
I drink boat out of a champagne glass, right, Augie?
Because
boat. Could have sworn you're going to say shoe.
Boats.
It is the best of all time.
There you go.
There's nothing as good as that.
That's what that stands for. Best of all time.
Best of all time.
Oh, that's fun. That didn't even occur to me.
No. Oh, then you're not paying attention to your own Facebook post.
I was going to say you didn't see the comments on your post the other day.
Probably means I didn't check yet.
So actually, John, since you're still drinking the Epitome, I'm going to go first with the second beer.
I'm just about done. I got another sip in this. So you pour your beer. Go ahead. Go for it.
So if I can get the thing open, because it's one of these infernal wax bottles.
You should have cut it already. I mean,
I have cut it, but I didn't cut it deep enough to get the bottle opener in there. Any rate, but what I'm going to drink here is from Long Live, which is one of the wonderful breweries here in Rhode Island, and they do a beer every single year. Well,
just one.
Maybe this is the second year. They do a bunch, because I've given you a few of them.
Just a couple.
But this one's called Friendsgiving, and I'll drink it if I can open the damn thing. Yeah, I'm a pro.
This is actually fun watching Dave do this. I'm like,
there we go. We got that sucker open. Yeah. So this is Long Live's Friendsgiving, and I'm drinking this for everybody who usually schedules a Friendsgiving, and this year can't actually be with their friends. My friend Dina, every year, her and her friends do a Friendsgiving, and she can't be with them this year. So I feel for her because I know she looks forward to that every year. So this is I think it's a 13% stout, and it's aged in bourbon barrels on hazelnuts, cacao nibs, and vanilla beans. So this should be kind of a dessert.
It's not sweet at all.
No, it shouldn't be sweet at all. Well, there's no...
Can you guys hear me on these headphones?
We can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, there you are. Augie's back.
There you go.
Oh, this thing is luscious. Nice. Oh, the hazelnut is strong in this. Really strong in this.
Wasn't that a line in Star Wars?
I love it. The hazelnut is strong in this this one.
In this one. Very nice.
This has got such a luscious mouthfeel to it. I'm loving it.
While you do that, I'm going to open up my second beer, which any of you that have been listening to the podcast or watching on Facebook or YouTube for the last several weeks have known. This is basically my favorite holiday beer, and that would be Sierra Nevada Celebration.
Damn good beer.
It's so tasty. I usually, traditionally, I normally do not have one of these beers until I put the turkey in the oven tomorrow morning, and that's usually about 7 o'clock. So I start my Thanksgiving off with a Sierra Nevada Celebration. So I'm going about 12 and a half hours early.
Well, if Augie can jump the gun with releasing Epitome, you can jump the gun with drinking your Celebration.
I got to tell you, on my show, for those of you that very wisely don't listen to my show, Hall and I drink wine. And in the COVID situation, Kennedy just mails us tinfoil masking tape wrapped beers.
I saw that. and even tinfoil wraps the damn key so that if there's anything there.
If there's anything identifying on the cap or the whatever. But anyway, he a celebration showed up in one of them.
Really?
And it's all wrapped, and thank God that Ken's so good that that's a nondescript bottle. So I just popped the top, and he masking taped and black magic markered the masking tape on top. Poured it in a glass, and I don't know if it benefited from being blind, but it was my favorite celebration in like 3 or 4 years. I always drink that beer. I think Ken's a fucking genius. 2020 was a pain in the fucking ass. And remember, part of what made it a pain in the ass were all those fires out there.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they were really close to hop fields. And, I'm interested. Like, we didn't go out for hop selection this year because can't get on a fucking plane.
No.
So, it's me and all the guys at the brewery doing the day-to-day. I'm like, look, you got to look for that because smoked hops are going to be fucking weird. And so far, so good.
Maybe that's why they did a Roush beer at that one.
That was last year.
Maybe, right. Maybe they bought the rejects, but that would be fun though. If I could find some smoked hops, I would definitely make a This Week in Roush beer, Roush for John Hall, and I would make a hazy smoked beer just to fuck with John. But anyway, all the smoked hops in the world and like one bag of smoked malt. Right. But anyway, so that celebration is. What do you think, John? Like it's fucking good.
It's just ridiculous. It's such a good beer.
But even by its own standard, like it's a beer the three of us know for 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has
it been 25 years that's been out?
They've been brewing this beer for a long time.
I've been drinking Sierra. I had one genius friend, actually, funny enough, coming back to it, house painter. We're 1995. We're just out of college. I was drinking dumb shit like Killian's. And he was the guy who would get a Sierra bottle while we were drinking cheap drafts. You know what I mean? Like we're 24, 25. I'm a bartender. I'm a college dropout. Can't afford any fucking beer. I'm like, I'm just Jaeger and a beer. And
Jaeger bomb.
He's far more gentlemanly than I. And he would drink 5 beers a night, and they'd be Sierras, and he'd sip them all night. And within 3 or 4 years of that experience, I was like, you know what? He was fucking right. This is a better beer.
Yeah.
And it took some other things to cue it in, but I was drinking the Celebration by the time I was 35, I think.
I've been drinking, now you say that, 25 years. When you first say 25 years, I'm just, for some reason, my mind goes right back to the 80s, but 25 years.
Yeah, we're older than that, John.
That was the 90s.
We're older than that. Yeah.
In fact, we're significantly older than that.
In fact, you're the baby of the bunch here.
You're the youngest in this group. I'm the old man.
50. I turned 50.
Yeah, I am the old man.
We're both older. So, but yeah, I mean, look at
you're
that.
You're drinking fucking kids beer, and he's drinking gentleman beer. You're drinking kids beer. I'm drinking.
I'm drinking beer. I'm drinking a candy bar here.
There you go.
But, so you guys call it the fucking lager room. I do you guys a favor. I build a room out of logs.
You built a room out of logs for this show tonight. That was so perfect.
We thank you for that.
Look at my log room, people.
Look at that.
Logs.
People. Augie actually took off of work today to build that room for the show tonight. So
I changed my taps. Well, I have child labor. But I John, you never made your kids work hard enough.
I guess I didn't.
We're not going to get into your conversation yesterday.
No.
But anyway, so I switched both my sixels to lager. So Dave, do you even know that there was a theory that this would be last Wednesday and we moved it to today?
Yeah, I was aware of this because you had a dental appointment, correct?
That's right. I would have been late. But so when I did my six-still pickup, my regular six-still pickup, I was like, all right, lager room. I'll just whip and it'll get me through the holidays. Everything will be great. So I've been living for 2 weeks with fucking whip in town in the house. I do not need to drink as much as I've been drinking these holidays.
We've how many lagers have we actually drank on the show, Johnny?
A few. I mean, we definitely did during Oktoberfest. We had nothing but lagers then.
Well, yeah, there was nothing but lagers, but we've.
Dave, you're in the middle of the anti-lager.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in the Hayes Boys section of the planet.
You were smack dab.
You're in the pastry stouts, sweetheart.
Oh yeah, there's the pastry stouts. Long live.
You literally have a pastry stout in your glass.
I know. This is saying. Between Long Live, Trillium. Trillium does their pastry stouts.
Yeah, but they do them nice.
Yes, they do. Because
they do.
The thing I say
about sexy.
When you throw lactose into a beer, it's like throwing salt on food. If you don't,
here's what you got to know. Trillium does not lactose as much as you think they do.
No, they don't. And the thing is, but when they do, they're so judicious with the application of it that it's funny. That's perfectly in the beer.
That's one of the fun things about Noah and JC. Like at one point he and I have only collaborated thrice. But we talk about collaboration.
Thrice. I love that word. Thank you for using thrice.
Thrice, absolutely.
So basically, every now and then he and I end up with some free time. Like I'll be at a kid's swim meet with 2 free hours and he'll have a free hour or whatever. And we go to this fugue state on text. I'll be like, what are you doing? What's going on? Talk to me. And if he answers, it becomes, 90 minutes of fucking craziness. And those crazinesses always bear out some, we should do this. And we never do. But at some point, well after the milkshake IPA thing had started, and, I was doing regular coffee and all our lactose beers, pumpkin cream and so on. I was like, he said to me, maybe we should do a lactose IPA. And I was like, well, how would you do it? He goes, I have no idea. I've never done one. And I literally was like, really? How have you? And this was well into that tradition. I was like, he's like, I like my IPAs. I was like, well, I like your IPAs too. Maybe you shouldn't fuck around. But there's nothing funnier. Excuse me, I'm going to pee. You won't see, but you'll hear.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
This should be good.
Well, I'm in the yard.
There you go.
I'm allowed to
yes,
pee over here.
There is a tree line.
There you go. Just remember, tree number 1 is for number 2, and tree number 3 is for number 1.
Well, you got to get a little deeper for number 2.
Don't go to tree number 4. That's the ladies' tree.
Part of our COVID lockdown.
I see. You're pouring another beer. That's what that noise is.
Classic moments in podcasts.
Part of our COVID lockdown is that we will have friends over, but out in the wood house and out by the fire pit to keep safe distance and be outside. So if you're a dude coming to my house, you have to be willing to pee in the yard. And there's a rock we want you to pee on so the other dudes don't stand in your pee.
I'm sorry, if you're a dude and you can't pee in the woods,
but it's dark at night, dude. It's dark at night, right? So you gotta be like,
there's all kinds of
look for this certain rock.
But there's all kinds of scary things in the Hartshorn woods, right?
Just remember, there are dudes that will pee.
Deer
there are dudes.
Fox.
Right.
Oh, fox, yeah, because they're terrifying.
Just remember, there are dudes that will pee in the backyard. There are dudes that will. There are dudes that will pee in the backyard in the middle of the day too, so you don't have to worry about it at night. So
I know dudes that will pee on the side of a church.
But the ladies are allowed in the house, of course, to use the facilities.
And I know a few ladies that would pee in the backyard too, but that's besides the point.
But that's the best part.
Right.
That's how you know who married well. Because when they're over here and 6 feet away,
right.
And the girl's like, "What rock do I pee on?" And we're like, "Oh no.
Oh, you've married a squatter.
Please walk right in the house." I was like, you know what? I could go to a concert with your chick and have no issues.
Not at all.
Here's to you.
Here's to girls who can pee in the woods.
There you go.
Here's to all the ladies.
Here's to all the ladies. Absolutely.
So, we have no way to actually gracefully segue into the top 3 now, do we?
I don't think
but
so.
Wait,
but
but maybe other than a change of subject.
Saying anything? Are we alone? Is it just the 3 of us? Because if so, I'll pee again and I'll switch It's a proper booze.
There's a few people watching. Nobody said anything. Brian
Say
and Gene,
things, you motherfuckers.
Brian and Gene have stopped
Brian's always
talking.
watching.
They're probably
about 5 beers
at this
in.
moment.
Well, Gene's probably about 8 beers in.
No, there's definitely more than Brian and Gene watching right now. So anybody listening and watching this right now, well, you're not obviously watching it. If you're just listening to it,
give us a rating from 0 to 5 on Augie's P sound.
There you go. Well, this is what we want you to do.
Did you really hear it? These fucking iPod
Pros no, we
are
heard
much better. With the orange iPods, you never would have heard me.
No, we
These
didn't.
iPod Pros, they are fucking toys. They are toys.
But here's the segue.
To be fair, I did tell you I was going to pee.
There you go. Dave Campanelle. Dave Campanelle just said he's 5 beers in.
5. Way to go, Dave. That's her.
and he gave 5 stars to your P sound too. So
there we go.
Sounds like a healthy urethra.
Absolutely. He just gave you.
Good.
He just.
That's
gave
one
you,
of my concerns now that I'm 50.
You've got no prostate issues.
He just gave you a prostate exam over Facebook Live. So.
Funny, I didn't notice. I guess it was a long weekend.
He's got very small fingers.
Tiny fingers.
So, on that note, there's our segue for it.
Segue. This is not a segue. This is just a change the damn subject, Johnny. Quick.
Anybody listening, tell us your favorite top 3 carton beers. We're going to talk about them right now. That's our top 3 this week in our 33 section.
There's a caveat to that. Top 3 carton beers that are not boat.
Yes, top 3 carton beers that are not boat or...
We've already established that boat is the best of all time, or epitome.
Top 3 carton beers that are not boat or epitome.
Do I have to answer this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You do. Did you not warn him?
Of course I did.
Dude,
he must have forgot. He forgot to
read.
I'm
not a reader.
You are a talker. You're not a reader.
You got to give me them movie pictures.
Okay, so we're gonna give you some time. Johnny and I go first.
Can I make fun of you? If
you can absolutely make fun of us.
All right.
It's encouraged.
Yes. We make fun of ourselves.
Prepped. Can I go on my website?
Pull up your Untapped. Go through your catalog.
There you go.
It's all boat.
Yeah, I was going to say it's boat.
Yeah,
boat,
if you go boat, that's
boat.
I don't know how acceptable that is.
This town, boat, whip.
You know what's funny is,
boat.
holy shit, I have it up. Hold on. It's hold on. I gotta. Here we go. So it's Dunning-Kruger, Carton of Milk, Whaler, Dub, SS Cream, Epitome, DDH Epitome. Funny. Somebody, if that Epitome chicken is really drinking Epitome, that shit is old. Anyway, go. You guys go. I'm sorry.
I didn't check in yet. Well, hold on. We actually have Dave Campanelle's top 3. Here you go. Regular coffee, O-Dub, and EWRMIA.
Really? Newark to Miami. Nice.
Newark to Miami. There you go.
I like that.
He gave a 3A carton of milk. There's his 3A.
There you go.
Yeah. See, that makes you a pro. Carton of milk pisses so many people off that I won't stop making it.
Love that beer.
I love it.
But it used to make Jesse crazy.
So.
Jesse, we're going to make a milk stout. Can't be sweet. Jesse be like, that doesn't make any sense. Yet that's what we're going to do.
You drove Jesse crazy on a regular basis.
Gotta love it.
You know what? Jesse and I have a lager for your lager room show that he released today called Pillsmatic, and it just came out.
Oh, I got to find that then.
He put it out today. He was texting me last night, clearly wasted, but wasted Jesse's my favorite Jesse. He's like, guess what I did today? I was like, made a beer. He's like, yeah, of course. What kind of beer? I was like, good night. This morning, he's clearly a little hungover, and I'm doing the day job. And I was like, so what fucking beer did you make? He's like, you got to guess. I was like, did you finally make boat? He's like,
again?
No, Pillsmatic.
Nice. I actually got the only Interborough I got coming to me right now. I don't have anything on it, but my daughter's boyfriend actually picked up 2 bottles of the Interborough Cane collab, that barrel aged with the peanut butter and pecans or whatever the hell they did. I forget the name of it.
Sounds like a dessert stout.
That sounds redundant.
I think so.
Peanut butter and pecan?
It's one or the other or both. I'm not sure. I
was going to say one's going to run the other over. I'll ask. I can find out.
So who's doing the top 3 first?
I know a guy named Kane and a guy named Interborough.
I think you know them both. Yeah.
You know
if you want, I can just ask.
Kane, Michael Kane, right?
Yeah, exactly. Special Counsel. That's the name of the beer. Special Counsel.
Special Counsel. Okay, so Johnny, you gonna go first with your 3?
So, yeah, sure. I will go first with my 3. My top 3 carton beers are in the third place. I have a 6-way tie.
Well, I'm honored. Let's just stop there. That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said. I'm going to leave it there.
Oh, that's perfect. No, actually, in no particular order, my top 3. And believe me, this was hard. I literally had a list of like.
Are you going pee again, Augie?
No. I'm grabbing a beer, and I ran out of beer.
And we got a couple of comments here from Dave Campanella, but I'm going to give my beers first before I go into them. My top 3 beers are in no particular order. Monkey Chase the Weasel.
Love Monkey. Love the Monkey.
Just since the first time you brewed Monkey, and I think the first pour of Monkey I ever had was at the brewery, was insane.
Straight out of the bush in the backyard.
I think actually we had a couple of handfuls of the mulberries.
You are killing me right now. God, I would kill for one of those.
You know the worst part?
What's that?
I picked it up today.
Oh, you're killing me.
So good.
No one loves me. No one loves me enough to send me boat up here.
You know, I like them old, but just to fuck with you, I grabbed a fresh one.
Yeah, thank you for that.
There you go.
So,
and then
okay, your next one.
And then Decoy.
It's no longer Decoy.
It's no longer Decoy.
We
correct.
got a cease and desist from a wine company.
Right.
I haven't renamed it yet, but I want to name it something like absolutely, definitely, positively not a fake wooden duck pretending to be a real wooden duck.
Is it
you're going straight up Elon.
You know our can design with the knuckle?
Right.
I just want to put as many words as you can possibly fit in the knuckle.
So you're going straight up Elon Musk on that? Not a flamethrower.
Is it going to be an acronym, or are you going to put every single word on it?
Oh, every single word.
Smart. No, I want to put every single word. I want it to be
every
tiny.
Single word.
And the can remains the same.
With the duck on it.
Yeah, with the duck picture on the side of the knuckle. Just absolutely positively, without a doubt, could not be considered by anybody a fake duck made out of wood pretending to be a real duck. #.com.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And to top it all off, the number 1 is definitely Shipwreck Porter.
Oh, that's a fun beer. Thank you.
It was fun. In fact, the first time I ever had it, it actually wasn't Shipwreck Porter. You and I were at the brewery on a President's Day about 130 years ago, and you poured me. It's got to
be within and a half.
Yeah, it was 9. It was 9 years ago. Well, this President's Day might be 9 years ago. That's what it would be. So, but you poured me a honey porter, and you poured
like
a little bit of
the tippy,
yeah, right, yeah, right. With the shipwreck
of the
in
beer
it
that was going into the
exactly. So, and it was, and I was sold right then, and then when the Shipwreck Porter actually finally came out, it was just ridiculous. So that's my number 1. There you go.
Thank you. So, yeah, that's a fun beer.
Yeah.
I'll throw my. Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to consider those. Those are definitely classics. They're all old school cartons. So yeah. Thank you.
I went old school.
I like it, but yeah. So those are all. What I like is I think you picked 3 beers born of the room we brewed in.
Right.
Like the tree fucking shitting in our house made Weasel, and Zach Brindley walking in the house made Shipwreck Porter, and that was a different time when there were only 300 craft breweries in America, and people just walked in your door with great ideas, and you just had to embrace them and take their ideas and make them collaborative. Yeah, thank you, John. That's sweet stuff. Absolutely. I appreciate that.
You got to thank you. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, absolutely.
What am I doing except going broke?
So my 3, I've got to go with. So there's these games that you play. You've got these series out there. With regular coffee, you played on that with irregular coffee.
Irregular coffee.
And there were so many you came out with.
Do you know what January is going to be?
Oh yes, we do.
And a jelly.
Say it again.
And a jelly.
And a jelly.
And a jelly.
Raspberry puree, regular coffee. Regular coffee and a jelly.
I hope I can travel to New Jersey at that point when that releases.
I'll get you some if you
got to get me some of that. But so what I did is one of them, I picked one of the irregulars to represent the whole batch, and my favorite that you put out, because it was so subtle. And John, I'm changing it up because I changed my mind on this one.
Shocker.
Shocker. Because it was so subtle and it was so. I'm not sure everyone got it. Was the French one.
Oh, French coffee. Well, you know what happened with that? I think I told you, but we get this weekly, hey, we got barrels emails from 12 companies, and Grand Marnier barrels showed up. And I was like, no fucking way. You actually have Grand Marnier barrels? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'll take 5 of them. I was like, put regular coffee. Because my entire life as a restaurant manager back in the 90s works over coffee and a Grand Marnier and call the guy because we're going out.
But I'll tell you, I don't think everyone understood the subtleties of that beer. It delivered so many wonderful flavors once you delve down into it and listen to the beer. Because all the rest of the regular coffees had these bold flavors to them, right? You had your Irish coffee, Cafe Corretto, even St. Kitts, and I love St. Kitts. Don't get me wrong, I love St. Kitts. That was my favorite.
That was the one he was going to go with, St. Kitts.
The one I was going to go with. But then I thought about it, like French coffee had this subtlety and this beauty to it, and this craft to it that it turned out to be one of my favorite irregulars.
Thank you. So I'll explain why you're defending that beer and other people aren't quickly, because it's one of the things you just embrace when you're doing that. I can't write Grand Marnier barrels on the can.
You put what, cognac?
So I said orange brandy barrels.
Orange brandy.
So right. Like if I write Grand Marnier on a can of a liquor product, I am in the fucking backyard of one of the biggest national conglomerates of liquor ever. Like they will shut us the fuck down in a second. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I can buy used Grand Marnier bottles from a distributor is a Grand Marnier collaborating with me.
Right.
So to avoid all that bullshit, you just figure out a way to speak the code to people that know the code. There's only one orange brandy in the world. It's Grand Marnier.
Yeah. So
you say, I got orange brandy barrels, and you write it on the can. The problem is your person who likes regular coffee and reads the word orange basically wants a treehouse hazy that tastes like coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, orange juice and
orange Julius, yeah, and coffee.
Right, yeah.
So, and I don't blame them for getting it wrong, and I don't blame them for not liking what I gave them if that's what they were expecting. But that's just the subtleties of American commerce, right? If I wrote Grand Marnier barrels on that can, you guys never would have tasted it. I would have been burning them in this fireplace right now. Like, oh, we're not allowed to sell this. So that's how that goes. It's just, I'm sure people with smart marketing departments or even smart marketers that own breweries handle that shit better than I do.
Right.
But I was just like, I don't know, call it orange brandy barrels, put it out. The right people understand.
Hey,
and I love it.
Works perfect.
Moving on to my next one, another one of the iconic series.
Was there an actual series called Iconic? Is that what it was?
No, it's not. With a K and a Q at the end. IKONIQ. No.
If we do make that, I want to put it on a Nonic pint.
That would be perfect.
With Dave's face in the middle of the jersey symbol on the bottom.
Put my face on anything. That would be awful. You would never sell anything.
Your face is all over the cans. You're not paying attention. There's Easter eggs all over these cans, and you're on at least 2 of them.
I have not noticed. I have to check.
Have you never
no.
looked?
I look at them, but I've never noticed myself.
Fine line art on a carton can.
I'm aware of that. I actually have to take pictures of some of the cans and blow them up to see what's going on.
Yeah, because you're old as fuck.
Because I am old as fuck.
Just so you know, I'm looking at Epitome.
I did just
Epitome
blow my
can right
nose
now.
on the
It's
inside
not
of my
on
shirt.
here. So.
I'm not on Epitome, no.
Right.
So
check again. Look inside the lines.
So, but going into this series, we're talking about the OW series. Okay.
Debians.
The Debians. So, and I can't say this was my favorite variant, per se, but it's because of.
I haven't made one for per se yet, but I will.
But this one is because of the place that it was made for, and I loved it. I love the beer, and I love the place, and it's 077-07006.
Cloverleaf.
Is that?
That is Cloverleaf, and that's the Sriracha Ace. Yes.
That is my former zip code for my former city,
former home
of residence.
Being that it is Cloverleaf, being that it is Carton, and I've had so much fun at any Carton release, any Carton party at Cloverleaf, that to represent the whole series, I had to pick that one.
By the way, bar owners, if you want to be our favorite place to release beer, put a CD jukebox with a Rush in it on your wall.
And allow Augie to hack the thing.
Augie and John, both of us. Thank you.
I let Augie hack it, and there was, I forget which event it was. I think it was an Epitome event. No, it was in winter.
No, so it would have just been Christmas, right?
It was Christmas because my son had a Christmas concert. Remember?
Right.
At one point before there were 150 breweries in New Jersey, they were trying to get me to do that hour-and-a-half drive like every 3 weeks, and I was like, no. We could do one Carton event and one Christmas event, and that's it.
Yeah.
But not for nothing. You were the first brewery.
That being said, those guys have been huge to us. I just,
they have.
And I was like, that's a long ass. As wasted as you guys get me at that bar, that is a long ass drive home.
It is, yeah, it is.
But you usually have a chauffeur.
But you know what though?
It's a long ass drive home. Telling people drive faster.
You know what? Then whenever you had an event, when you had to take that ride home, that's when I was living in that town, and I only had a 3-block crawl home, so that was fine.
Was still long.
But for nothing. But for nothing. For the love of you guys, is the first time that Ryan ever took Guinness off tap.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, I mean,
he took Guinness off and put milk on
since the 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you got to admit the funnest part about Ryan is Ryan really got at least me, if not us. So we'd be at this thing, and I'd be doing the gentlemanly thing and trying to drink my way through all 67 handles or however many fucking handles he has.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And then secretly, Ryan would have brought in beers he thought I would want to drink that I didn't make.
Right.
So
brewery usually, right?
Yeah,
you usually brought them with you, though. That's the problem.
I'm a giant fan of Rue.
Right.
But we'd be over at some table drinking Patrick Rue's beers at my event in his bar. And everybody who had ever tasked with marketing or making me look good or, look, I don't speak the language. Just tell them what we're doing. They'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you over here with the 10 loudest people cheersing with fucking Tuesday? I'm like, but Tuesday's a good beer. Don't yell at me.
I've had more brewery beers at Cloverleaf than I have had anywhere else. So,
I agree.
And to be quite honest with you, I didn't buy any of them. They just came
because
right out of his cellar.
Because they're on tap, they come out of Ryan's cellar. Okay, so I've still got one more beer.
You got one more
favorite
beer,
beer. And I'm switching it up again, Johnny. It's not what I told you originally. I originally told Johnny Sunday. Because I love the story behind Sunday.
But that's Dave's way of
drinking orange beer right now.
That's Dave's way of getting a fourth beer into his top three.
Yeah, that's the way. The fourth beer.
I see what you're doing.
But I'm gonna go with I've got to go with Cherry Swisher. And the reason I'm gonna go with Cherry Swisher is because of the development of that beer and being.
And the law passing early in the month.
But also being with that beer through every step of its development, and then we poured that down at the first Hunapoo that you were invited to.
Oh, right.
It was that.
But wait, we did the Wayne's Way version of it. We did the
Wayne's Way version of it, where you smoked the hell out. Cedar. Yes, right. Cedar aged.
Cedar barrel aged version of Cherry Swisher. Yeah. To do his cigar series thing, because it's a cigar beer, right? So we did the smoked beer, put it into a cedar stave barrel. Yep, Wayne's Way. But that's Cherry Swisher in cedar spirals or whatever. And what's funny is I love that beer and I wanted to make it again. And I called up Wayne. I was like, I'm going to make this beer again. It's named after you. You got an issue? He's like, I don't have an issue. You should definitely do it. However, there's no good cedar left in the world. Don't fucking do it. And I literally said, but I said to Jesse, I was like, Wayne says there's no good cedar. So now we're getting cedar spirals, cutting them into tiny bits, putting them into Everclear and smelling them to try to figure out if they'll give the beer what we want them to give down the road. And fucking Wayne Wamble's genius was completely right. And every single one of them smelled like it might as well be some fucking, what's that bullshit Anheuser-Busch talks about?
Beechwood.
What's their wood?
Beechwood age, yeah.
Might as well have been Beechwood. All the cedar was tired as fuck when he was done with his Humidor series.
But the other thing I love about that story behind the beer is it was another one of those things where you were fucking with Jesse, because Jesse was not a fan of Rausch beers, and you wanted to make a Rausch beer that Jesse would drink.
Yeah, but that's not fucking with Jesse as much as knowing that Jesse loves the weed, or used to love the weed.
Well, that's the backstory behind it. Is that the way that it was hopped was that it starts off smelling like weed, but then the cherry, because what cherry swishers were used for back in the day, you go get high in the woods, and so that your parents don't know that you've been smoking weed, you smoke a cherry swisher, and it's exactly what the beer did. You taste, when you smell it, it smells like weed. When you taste it, it's the smoke, it's the cherry swisher washing out the weed, and it was genius. It was absolute genius once you dialed that in.
You know what's funny is that's an other half story too, because
it's a surprise.
they were still over at Kelso back then. They hadn't started other half.
Right.
Okay.
But my favorite beer Kelso made was a beer called Industrial that those guys made, like their private, brewers double IPA back in the day. Kelly wasn't behind the beer, but the three of them made it. And I loved it. Jesse and I would drink fucking growler on growler of it while brewing, and it was a strong ass fucking beer.
I've had
but my favorite thing I used to say before, and I don't blame craft beer for this, I blame craft weed for this.
Weed.
But in 2011, there was a regionality to the way weed smelled. There was San Diego weed, there was Vermont weed, there was Colorado weed, there was fucking. So I thought brewers picked their hop combinations to smell like the weed they were smoking, right? There was a Vermont flavor, there was a Colorado flavor, there was a San Diego flavor, there was a San Francisco flavor, there was a New York flavor, there was a Jersey flavor. But then as weed got legal around that time, but what I'm saying is as weed got legal around that time, fuck you, I'm not falling for that. As weed got legal around that time, weed got ubiquitous, right? So just like it wasn't as hard to get a Pliny and it wasn't as hard to get a Heady, it wasn't as hard to get a Kush or a Diesel or a fucking Haze. And it all became, so all of a sudden, double IPAs became ubiquitous. Everything was Citra and Mosaic, right?
The sluttiest of hops, correct?
Back in the day, what I love best about that beer called Industrial by Kelso by the other half team was it smelled exactly like a shitty ass dime bag of weed from Washington Square Park.
Totally did.
Like it was the most indigenous. This is what our weeds like. My point was proven by this one beer because these guys were three fucking guys from New York City making fucking New York City weed beer.
Nail on the head with that. Absolutely nail on the head with that.
I wouldn't know.
When I was making that beer behind Jesse's back, I called up Sam and I was like, how do I make a beer smell exactly like a shitty dime bag of weed? And he goes, oh, that's easy. And he sent me like 5 hops and different levels of combinations. So the hop bill on Swisher is still Sam's, oh, you want to smell like a shitty dime bag of weed? This is what you do. And I was like, that is what I do.
That's right.
So now John's given his top 3. I gave my top 3. You're on the spot now. And while you do that, I'm going to open another beer because I'm empty again.
Yeah, it happens. I think I'm a couple ahead of you, actually.
That's why I'm trying to catch up here. I'm going with another long live. I'm going with their anniversary IPA here.
You got it.
Oh, guess what? It's hazy.
Funny. It's funny. A beer called Long Live making a hazy IPA.
Imagine that.
Imagine a brewery from New England doing a
hazy IPA.
That's hazy as hell.
That is, yeah.
It's
okay.
Yeah.
I can't tell. I mean, I don't know how your camera works. I can't trust your picture. I got to have the beer in front of me.
That is in the dictionary under Haze Boys. There's a picture of that glass.
Do I need to send you one?
Oh, the Haze Boys like it to look a little more like juice, a little more butternut squash colored.
Yeah, this isn't. White. It's not dark enough. It's not thick enough.
That's yeast and two-row.
That's
yeast and two-row.
Yeah, I was referring to the haze.
I'm sorry, that's yeast and Pilsner.
There's a lot of oatmeal. There's a lot of oatmeal in the flavor of this one.
Yeah.
So what are your 3?
Or Quick Oats.
Yeah.
I am going to go ostensibly Travis, 50 years later, and Whip.
Nice.
Three that I've not had.
3 new beers. I've had all 3, by the way, but
fuck you.
Travel limited.
Is this just a marketing ploy, or is these really your 3 favorite?
They're definitely my 3 favorites. So Carton, we're 10 years old now, right? We just celebrated our 9th anniversary. We're in our 10th year.
Yep.
I'm a collaborative guy. I have a million ideas, and along the way, you guys were there at the very beginning. You know me and Jesse, and you know our creative instincts and all our fun games. I am now with a brew team that is my favorite brew partner since Jesse. And it's been kind of wonderful. I've got I care about what glasses look like. I care about this and that. I can get distracted by a million things, but I'm never happier than with
shiny.
Yeah, exactly.
Balloon.
Yeah. But I'm never happier than when I'm like, what if we? Right. And doing that with brewers is amazing. So I picked Whip because the Whip project has always existed in my head, and I've had a recipe for Whip forever. But when Stark, my current head brewer, became my head brewer, I was like, what beer do you want to make? Because there's fucking 500 Carton beers that haven't been made. Right. And he's like, look, I love this town. It's a good beer. But when I'm talking to other brewers, when I'm making a great lager, that's the respect I know, love, and deserve. And I was like, of course. That's this town. He's like, yeah, but this town's not mine. So let's pull out the Whip recipe and let's make that. So he did. And Whip is fucking dynamite. It's so fucking good.
Johnny, you got to get me some of that.
It's a great beer. Yeah,
when I explained to him the variations I wanted to do, it was as easy as, and then we'll do a all Czech one, an all German one, an all Japanese one, an all Mexican one, an all Canadian one, and we'll just keep doing them, and we'll always have Whip.
Is that a change up of the mash bill and the hop bill?
Everything, everything you can change. So the Japanese one is siracha and some rice.
Right.
You know what I mean? He wants to lime the Mexican
Czech
one. I'm not sure yet.
It's sauce.
So Czech is out right now. If you come to the brewery, so the Czech word for Whip.
I can't come to the
Czech word.
He's talking to
me. Why not? You don't have a car?
I have a car, but there's this whole
shut the fuck up. Let me finish my story. Anyway, so the Czech word for whip is bitch. It's BIC, but it's pronounced bitch.
Bitch. Not biatch.
Pronounced BITC. Bitch.
It's bitch.
So I was delighted by that one. So,
you like bitch.
We have pizza. We have pizza, which is the German.
Pizza.
Bitch. Frusta, Like we've made the Italian one a couple times.
Frusta, I like that. So how do you do the Italian one? What goes into the Italian one? That's curious.
So what's funny? Well, that's fucking Justin Kennedy poisoning all of beer. But so apparently when, who makes the great Italian lager, the dry hop lager?
Peroni?
Fuck. No, definitely not. What a terrible answer from a guy drinking a hazy.
I was going to say.
Oh.
It's not Pivo, but it's fuck.
Well, Pivo's Czech.
No,
you're in the wrong country. You're in the wrong country. You're in the wrong country.
Listen, Pivo is the Czech word for beer, or all of like Serbia, Croatia. But it's Firestone Walker's beer. Which
Congratulations
is
on being
beer.
the typical American bad at geography. Go ahead.
Anyway, it's a Firestone Walker beer, fuckface. It's from San Francisco.
I love that. I love that beer, by the way.
It's a good beer, but it's modeled after this other beer that I'm forgetting
which is not Italian. We're talking about Italy here.
Right. Hold on. I'll look it up. Fuck you. Justin Kennedy Italian Pilsner. Search it. Hold on.
Justin Kennedy Italian Pils. Search it.
Justin Kennedy.
Oh, the race is on here. Is Johnny going to get it first? Augie going to get it first? The suspense is just delicious.
You're definitely going to get it before me because I didn't spell a single one of those words right.
Well, you've downed 3 whips in a, what is that? Is that a 16 ounce or a 20 ounce?
I had two whips
and a boat.
300 milliliter.
You went European on us. Nice.
Yeah, Google's not being happy with me.
No, I got it. I just looking for the words. It's not common for a beer style to emerge and spread from.
This is enthralling podcast.
I'm telling you, wasn't this great?
Well, I didn't try to start the shit. You could have just let me go, but you got all territorial.
Yeah, he wanted to do what he does. Yeah.
Tipo Pils. Tipo Pils.
Tipo Pils. Okay.
So that's the Italian beer that inspires the Italian movement. But basically, what
Augie wins that race, Johnny. You lost.
So
yeah, I didn't. I totally lost because I didn't even find it yet. So
what Justin explains in his story is that Tipo Pils inspired a whole bunch of beers, and now it's called. Hey, buddy, hold on, my son's here. Do you need me?
Which one?
Do you want to put some wood on fire? Cassie. Anyway. So Justin explains that he was trying to copy a German beer. He dry hopped it because that's what he thought he should do and all this. And Tipo Pils, my favorite Tipo Pils story is I was over in Copenhagen with Chief from Industrial Arts. We went for a brunch after 4 days of drinking too much. And I was all excited by this beer list with fucking 30-year-old lambics and all this crazy shit. And I was like, what are you drinking? He was like, no, well, I went to the beer fest. I think I used his pass, but I was just drinking. I was there to go to restaurants. There's very good restaurants there. But anyway, so he and I got brunch with with his team. I was over there solo with his team the next morning. I was like, what are you drinking? She was like, Tipo Pils. I was like, all right, I'll start with the Tipo Pils. I knew it. I was excited by it, but I was like, all right, drink it. I was like, let me have this bottle of lambic. And I'm 2/3 of the way through the glass. I was like, I want another Tipo Pils. This is fucking dynamite. And then I was like, all right, let me try this, Munich dark lager. About halfway there, I was like, I want another Tipo Pils. So it was important to me. So when Justin wrote the article, I was like, huh. And then it got in my head, not how do I make an Italian lager, but how would I do the story Justin's telling? Like, how would I recreate a German lager with a big dry hop in this Italian now fashion according to Justin article? And I thought I was making a beer, one, to go well with food from the Italian place across the street, and 2, to make fun of Justin's article. So I make an Italian whip with all German Pilsners and stuff, German Pilsner malt and so on. And then Bo Pils from Germany. And then we just stack it with Hallertauer, but Hallertauer has a couple versions. Magnum for bittering, Hallertauer Mittelfew for, Whirlpool, and then Hallertauer Blanc. So we just stack Hallertauer and Hallertauer and Hallertauer all the way through what I think will make a beautiful food beer. And Stark and I worked that recipe out, and then we make it, and it's fucking dynamite. And I think I'm making fun of Justin, and all of a sudden, I'm about 1 week ahead of every other brewer in the world with Italian Pilsner, because I read Justin's article first. So I'm not as creative as I think, but that's fun as fuck. But that's Frustra, which is the Italian whip.
Right. Well, you've been more creative than most people.
Well,
I mean, let's talk about Rav.
But wait, let's finish. So then, ostensibly, Travis is, this new set of brewers. Stark's in charge, and Austin is the guy who's in charge of our R&D and sours. And at some point, when Austin was brand new and Stark was just kind of stepping up, I don't even think Stark was head brewer yet, but he gives me a beer that's a yogurt culture pitched tippy with pear and ginger. He gives it to me. I was like, that's fucking dynamite. What is it? Pear and ginger? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, I'd like to do it, as a saison with a little bit of sour with some black pepper. So kudos. He's like, our new guy, Travis, made it in the tippy last week. I was like, that's fucking great. Austin made a good beer. I don't know why Travis was Austin in my head, but that's what I heard. Now it's like a year later. And literally Austin and Stark are running the show. And I just have a note, get back to Travis's beer. So I was sitting there with Stark. He's like, we need to make a beer. I was like, let's get back to Travis's beer. And he goes, who the fuck is Travis? So that's how ostensibly Travis came around. But basically I said, look, just make that beer. We can fuck around with it in the OWC with some proper sour cultures, but just make one of the Highlander Vices with, his mix. It was fucking perfect. Yeah. We can't prop a yogurt culture for the big system in the big house yet. So just make a Highlander and have him choose his additions. But he did. And it's fucking dynamite. It's such a good beer.
It is such a good beer. It's
so
so
I may need to break all the rules and come down.
That's Austin's, hey, I'm new at the brewery. Augie likes tippies. I'm going to make a tip and give it to him. And it just worked out that well.
There you go.
And then the last is 50 years later, because I had no fucking idea what that beer was. That was my new sales guy, Justin, my new ops guy, Andrew, Stark, my head brewer, everybody involved in the team, be like, Augie turns 50. They call my wife and kids. They're like, what's his favorite dessert? It's key lime pie. And they literally, without me, which is what you hope for Carton Brewing 10 years later, made a beer significantly better than I would have made it had I written the recipe and just handed it to them. Put it in a can that was, my kind of art without my instinct, my kind of writing without my input, my kind of recipe without my input, and did it as a, hey boss, happy birthday thing. And the beer fucking delights me, and the team delights me, and it's like going back to those Jesse days 10 years ago, where it's like, yeah, this is what we fucking do.
I'm smiling because
those are my three.
It's wonderful to hear. Absolutely. It is wonderful to hear.
So those are my three.
And we know that Johnny's got to go talk about taking a ball and moving from one place to the next. Correct?
Oh, hey, Johnny, how are the Giants doing?
Yeah, actually, they're playing the best football in the NFC East right now, and that equates.
So
that's
tallest midget?
Well, that equates to saying the same thing as this is the least smelliest shirt in the dirty laundry pile.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the story with them. But yeah,
and even though we've got to shut this down so Johnny can move on to the next thing.
To the next podcast.
The sports portion of the Lager Room, which is the play on words that Johnny has put out there. Augie,
the Lager Room.
Obviously, we'd obviously love to have you back on this at some point.
I'll come back. I can do this every what night is it? Wednesday
night.
Well, we got to throw some other people. It would be lovely to have you every Wednesday, but
I'm good with every other Wednesday. So
every other Wednesday is good because there's so much. there's so much that we need to talk to you about. There's so many other topics.
We both want to dive into, food is beer, beer is food.
That TED Talk is one of my favorite TED Talks.
That can go in, TED Talk. That can go on for
again, tallest midget.
that could go on for an entire podcast plus.
Giants are playing great football. It's my favorite TED Talk.
It's your favorite.
You guys have digressed. I'm going to let you go.
Well, in any event,
I got a new log for the lager room.
You got a new log for the lager room.
You got going there.
Actually, I want to take a picture of that. We're going to incorporate it into the logo.
Love the way you help. Oh, that's beautiful.
And just so everybody knows, too, the music for the beginning of this and the end of this podcast, and also the sports podcast, is from a band from Denver, Colorado called Log.
Log.
So it actually works. And
that's also a great toy. That's a toy from Ren and Stimpy as well.
Absolutely.
Just to be clear, it rolls downstairs alone or in pairs.
Yes,
and over your neighbor's dog.
Absolutely. And
paper snack, it fits on your back. Log, log, log.
Log, log, log. Absolutely. And the lead singer and bass player for the band Log in Denver, Colorado is actually Harry Lugnuts on the sports podcast. So
someone call the police.
So, all right. With that, I'm going to actually tell you, we're going to wrap up the show for today. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will have Augie back. Don't you worry about that.
A special thank you to Augie.
Many thank yous to Augie Carton. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Augie, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Give our love to Lauren and the boys.
Absolutely, please. Well, you give our love to the grass and the rock out in your backyard. So,
please, thank you for having me. And break a leg.
Please remember that during Grace, please remember Kokomo.
I do it every year, and nobody likes it.
You need to continue. It's tradition now.
Well,
that's right. All right, gentlemen, behave. Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure.
Absolutely. Want to thank Augie. Thank you for coming on the show. We will have you back. We will talk to you soon. Don't go anywhere just yet. Hang on one second. Want to thank everybody for watching, and if you're those of you listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. And remember, we go live with video podcasts on both Facebook and YouTube for the craft beer portion every Wednesday at 5:30. For those of you that want to listen to us on just the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Be safe tonight. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. As hard as it'll be, just get through it, enjoy it, and take care, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Love you guys.
They found him face down in his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake rug. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he shit out of love.